What's up, guys? It's Rick from Wicked Rails, and I'm back. I finally come back, and I know it's been a little while, but I've been super busy with school. Plus, if you guys don't know, I'm a professional musician, and I've had a ton of stuff coming in and out, so I've just been super busy, and I know there's been a delay on videos, but trust me, I'm trying my best. I'm a busy guy. I'm trying to pump out videos. They're on their way. But today I'm analyzing the Six Flags 2019 announcement. Comparing them to my predictions and just saying kind of my thoughts on them. Overall, I think Six Flags definitely won this year. The two coasters that they got really just max force outdoes everything that Cedar Fair is getting, at least for me. And yeah, Six Flags they did really well this year, but I think that they still need to leave room for improvement. And I'm also going to be talking about 2020 just a little bit because 2020 is going to be huge. Huge. So many parks are hitting anniversaries, and I'll discuss them later, but I'm going to discuss them a little bit in this video if they are Six Flags parks. But plus there's like the Hersheyland, RMC Gwazi. There's so much happening in 2020. We can just all be excited for that year. I think it'll definitely outdo 2018 and 2019. But yeah, let's start. So, Great Escape, I am so freaking mad about this. On it, like, I predicted a stupid flat. This is a stupid flat. It just also happens to be a water ride, so I'm going to say I got this one right. But the fact that they're converting their water park after just getting a water park edition 2 years ago, they get a water park edition literally every other year, and it's been 16 years now. This will be, in 2019, it'll have been 16 years since their last coaster, which was the Canyon Blaster. And I know they got, back in 2005, they got a kiddie coaster, but I'm not really going to count that. I'll just count Canyon Blaster, which was in 2003, and that's my least favorite coaster of all time. So, really shows that how much this park is neglected, and it aggravates me that this is what they're calling as an addition when other parks are getting freaking max force. Great Escape gets buckets. Yay. You know? It makes me want to strangle Jim Reed Anderson for just neglecting this park so much. And now we got Frontier City, which is going to become the new Great Escape. And I'll describe that later, but I'll talk about that some more. But I'm going to move on because I don't want to rant for too long. Ronde is an interesting year, definitely. I know a ton of people predicted a super loop. I was not one of those people. I was one of very few people who predicted nothing because last year it was such a disaster because they were supposed to get 3 stupid carnival rides and they only got 1. So I said they would get nothing because I was kind of saying if they're going to get anything, they're just going to get the other 2 rides they were supposed to get. I don't know if they're still going to get that, but no, they're still getting a super loop. I don't know if they said this was another one of the tallest ones in the world, but the fact that they're still doing super loops and free spins bothers me. But definitely the parks on the lower end of my list, they got gypped, definitely. Definitely. Alright, moving on. We got Six Flags St. Louis. I actually predicted they were going to get a family flat, and this isn't exactly family, but it's still a flat ride, so I'm going to say I was right with this prediction. And it's, for those who don't know, this is an Enterprise, the version 2 of the Enterprise rides. I think this is perfect for the park. I think this is a really good addition for this year. I know some people thought they might be getting a Raptor, but I didn't see that happening. This seems pretty good. It doesn't look like it's themed to Supergirl at all, but apparently it is. Like, nothing about this says Supergirl to me at all. I don't know if I'm the only one that can't see anything Supergirl related. And I love DC Comics. I collect them like crazy. I have, like, thousands of dollars of comic books right next to me, right next to my computer where I record my videos. I got volumes and volumes of DC stuff. But I love comic books. This does not look like Supergirl at all to me. That's my only complaint with the ride. But moving on. Frontier City. I'm really mad about this because I was excited to hear that Six Flags was picking up more parks. Why? Why are they making Frontier City another Great Escape? For those who don't know what I mean, Great Escape used to have Looney Tunes, like a kid area themed to Looney Tunes, and they used to have DC Comics heroes walking around, and that was awesome for me growing up. It's like Great Escape is a park for the kids, but once you're older than 8 and you realize, or once you're older than 5 and you realize that there's other good coasters out there, you really never want to go back to the Great Escape. My rule is actually I don't go unless somebody invites me. It's not a good park. I'm hoping next year they get a coaster, but it's unlikely with how many other parks are supposed to get one. But anyways, Frontier City is getting Timbertown, which is what the Looney Tunes area at Great Escape was switched to when, for some odd reason, they decided to stop having any ties to Warner Brothers at all. So nothing Warner Brothers related is at the Great Escape outside of the gift shop that you have to walk through to leave. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the Great Escape, but to leave, you have to walk through this tiny little gift shop, and it's so crowded all the time. It's terrible. But this is a really annoying addition, and I think Frontier City deserves a lot better. Hopefully they get better in the future. Six Flags Mexico, I predicted that they would get a Skywarp. They did not. Nobody got a Skywarp, which was surprising to me, but I'm happy with this addition. I think this fits the park great. It's probably the most underrated park in the entire chain. Superman looks amazing. Probably one of the best hypers in the world. One of the most underrated hypers in the world. Sure, it needs a repaint, but it still looks amazing. And just the scenery and the landscaping, and just it's such a beautiful park. Very underrated. And this fits fine. Like, it's good. I have no complaints here. Obviously, Skywarps didn't do too well. Not many people really like them, so I'm not surprised. Not too surprised that they're not giving any more out this year. But moving on. Darien Lake. I also predicted this for Frontier City, that I didn't think they were going to get any rides. I figured they were just going to, like, say, hey, we own these parks now, and then throw in, like, a Macho Nacho burritos or something. And maybe they still will, I don't know. But they added a Sky Screamer this year, and I think that's really good for the park. I actually live pretty close to Darien Lake, but I've never been there, so I'll definitely get there next year. But just during the next month, I'm supposed to go to a couple parks, so we'll have to see. And I'll once I get to some other slides, I'll talk about that some more. But you'll notice that on my list, a lot of it has changed. And that's because with these new additions, certain parks have become silver medal parks. And some of them have moved up or down in the ratings. You'll see more as it moves on, but if you watch my predictions video, you see that the ranking is different, and that's why. But anyways, moving on to the next park, which is Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. I predicted they would get a drop tower. I think Coaster Studios did too. I don't actually remember, but yeah, I've always thought they should have one. I mean, it would fit under the height limit, but, you know, they got a coaster. It is a free spin, but it's a coaster. Good for them, you know? I'm actually, seeing this in front of all their other coasters actually looks really awesome. And I think it's a good fit for the park. I think this is actually the first time I've actually been happy to see a free spin going to a park. And I think that this is actually, sorry I keep saying actually, but this is a really good fit for the park. And that skyline actually looks pretty awesome. I keep saying actually. I don't know why. But moving on. Like I said, the drop tower was kind of wishful thinking. But moving on to the next slide is Six Flags America. I am actually super happy about this. I'm a little disappointed because I happen to be going to Six Flags America next month. And that's the problem right now. When I was pretty darn hyped to get more credits, obviously I won't be able to ride Firebird because it will not be ready by then. This is one of 4 coasters. The one that you just saw was also a coaster, the free spin. And that you saw that Discovery Kingdom and America are now silver medal parks for me, which is good for them. They're really close to being elites. And America, I assumed that they would eventually refurbish Apocalypse. I didn't think it was going to be this soon. And for those who don't know, I actually made my prediction that it would be a Tourbillon because I made my video before it was announced that Apocalypse was closing and all that. and it was pretty clear that they were going to either build something on that land or refurbish it into a floorless, and they ended up making it a floorless. I think this is a great idea, honestly. I think it had a really promising layout, and it had amazing theming. This looks like it has less theming, but I like the name, I like the color scheme. I'm just disappointed I won't be able to ride it this year. Also, I'll make a tweet saying more details about when I'm going to America in case you want to meet me and Jack. But yeah, this will be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm excited for America. And moving on, Six Flags Over Texas. Now, for Over Texas, I just predicted family flats or just a flat ride, and I will say that I was right here because Super Loops are not coasters; they're flat rides. So I was right. And why? I actually think I'm one of the people who thinks Over Texas is pretty weak compared to what a lot of people say. Its lineup does not look that good, if you ask me, and I'm pretty darn surprised that they gave them a Super Loop. I thought they were never going to get one. I thought this would be the only park that doesn't get a Super Loop, but now I'm pretty sure every single park in the chain has a Super Loop, so they can't really go further. I really have nothing else to say. You've been on one, you've been on them all. This is supposedly like 2 feet taller than the normal one. I don't know. So it's the tallest in the world, but whatever. Who cares, you know? Good for them, I guess. Whatever. Six Flags New England. Now, I know a lot of people were complaining about this edition. I predicted a Tourbillon because they were removing Crime Wave at the time, because I had just actually gotten back from a trip to New England, because this has actually become more of my home park now that the Great Escape is, you know, terrible, and I've actually, like, I just go to New England all the time, once or twice a month, really, and this is okay. For those who don't know, this is the same ride that was given to the Great Escape last year, but this time it's indoor and it's themed to Cyborg. Who cares, honestly? Pretty much everybody in the coaster community is predicting that 2020 will be the year for New England, because the last coaster that New England got was the Joker in 2017, but not counting free spins, I believe it was Wicked Cyclone in 2015. And for those who don't know, 2020 is the 150th anniversary of this park. This and Cedar Point were first opened in the same year. So two big parks are hitting 150 years old. And what I think they're going to do is, because Goliath has been causing them a ton of trouble recently, like a ton of trouble. For those who don't know, it was closed for pretty much the entire season without an explanation. And then once it opened back up, this was in one of Avery Heaney's videos, who's a good guy, a good friend. But I'll put the link in the description to his channel and his videos, so you should really go check it out. But specifically in this video, it shows that Goliath actually valleyed recently, and you know, that's obviously too much trouble. And it's one of their newer coasters, which surprised me. I believe it's their third newest. And I hate the ride. It's unbearably bad. It's really rough and just truly terrible. But, you know, it would make sense for them to get a coaster. And if they got rid of Goliath and maybe their other Vekoma Boomerang, their normal Vekoma Boomerang Flashback, they could make a really good ride there. Personally, I'd like to see a B&M invert. I know they already have an invert and a B&M in Riddler's Revenge, which is an SLC, and Batman, which is a floorless. But I think a B&M invert would be awesome. I also think another hyper coaster would be awesome, but they really don't have the space for it unless they were to clear out more land, which they could always do. And then, you know, maybe a repaint on a couple of the coasters, because I know Batman's starting to fade a little bit, so just kind of repaint it. But I'm very excited for 2020 for this park, so this is really just filler for me. And I predicted that it would be a Tourbillon because Crime Wave was gone, or it was getting taken down, but they actually put it back up, so Crime Wave is staying around, as far as I know. I don't know where the hell this is going to go. Probably where Krypton Collider is, because this is pretty similar to it. They're probably just going to build a building and put it in there. The area where Superman is really does need more fleshing out, because right now they have 3 coasters. One of them's a family ride, one of them is Superman, and one of them is a Wild Mouse that's really uncomfortable. And then they have a ride that's almost identical to this, but you're kind of sitting sideways instead of facing outwards. Yeah, I mean, it's a fine ride. I have no complaints, really. I'm more excited for 2020 for this park. I know I ranted for a while there, but moving on. Six Flags Over Georgia. I actually got this prediction completely on the nose right. I predicted a giant discovery, and look what they got. It's nice that they're adding a new area to the park, and I think, like, steampunk is a cool theme, I guess. This doesn't look steampunk at all. I don't know why this is in that area. The name is pretty unoriginal, but whatever. I like the color scheme, just doesn't really fit steampunk. I love giant discoveries, so I just know I'm actually very happy about this edition. Pretty much everybody was predicting this, though. So I'll just move on. Great America, I got this right, and I was ridiculed for it by a bunch of my coaster enthusiast friends, but I predicted this right. I said they were getting an SNS launch, and look at what they got. They got the coaster of the year, if you ask me, Max Force. Nothing else even compares to this. West Coast Racers looks fine. Yukon Striker looks fine. Copperhead Strike looks mediocre. And then this one just looks amazing. I cannot wait for Great America to get this. This actually bumped it up in my rating. Over Georgia used to be higher than this, but there's no way that Max Force, like, there's no way. Max Force it just looks amazing. I've always thought Great America's lineup is great, but not amazing, and they really did need something else. I also think X-Flight could be made a little less rough, maybe retrack it, but whatever. This is just such a fantastic addition, and I'm so proud of Six Flags for finally adding another ground-up coaster, because that's what we all wanted, really. And this it blew me away when I first saw it, when it was leaked the night before. Very happy I actually predicted this correctly. So, moving on, there is Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Now, for Fiesta Texas, I predicted a Sky Warp. They're getting a giant discovery. Pretty much every place, everybody was predicting giant discoveries, Sky Warps, and Raptors and Tourbillons. Those were like the 4 things everybody was predicting. And then one ground-up coaster going to Magic Mountain. And I heard a couple free spins. I was one of the very few people who actually predicted an SNS launch for Great America. But Fiesta Texas, this fits the park perfectly, honestly. I'm very excited for this park. This is one of my bucket list parks. I really, really, really want to go here just to ride Wonder Woman, Superman, and I don't even know, like Iron Rattler, right. Those are the 3 coasters I really want to get on here. Park seems amazing and just truly great. They do need another coaster, though, definitely, as soon as possible. Maybe get a hyper coaster. That would really round out their lineup more. But the lineup that they do have is absolutely fantastic. So just moving on. Magic Mountain. So this is the other coaster, the final coaster that was added this year. And I did predict that they were getting a coaster, but pretty much everybody did. This is their 20th coaster, so that's really cool. Great for the park. But pretty much I made this before it was revealed that the Mac video where they said they were giving a $20 million coaster to California was incorrect, and they meant Carolina. So I actually predicted that it would be a Mac multi-launch or hyper. I believe I actually said hyper in the video. But this looks great. Looks like a really, really, really solid ride. They're definitely... This could have been better, but I'm very happy to see this be the first park to hit 20 coasters. I definitely have to get here someday soon. Hopefully before I graduate I can get there. Jack and I are going to try soon. Maybe next year. It's unlikely, but maybe. Probably in a couple years, though. Overall, just a great addition. Six Flags Magic Mountain needed a new coaster because their last one was Speedy Gonzales. But overall, this is a good addition, and I'm very excited for the park. The teasing campaign for this was awesome, too. And I'm sorry about the menu in the bottom of the screen. It happens all the time. And then Great Adventure. Now, I'm going to say I predicted this right, but that's kind of cheap because, well, I predicted like 5 different things for this park. I said they could get a Sky Warp, or a Giant Discovery, or an RMC Raptor or T-Rex. I said the Giant Discovery was the least likely, but I still predicted it, and this is what they got. They got a Giant Discovery. It'll fit the park great. I like the Wonder Woman theme. I believe it's going next to Green Lantern. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that area was kind of empty. The Golden Kingdom had literally nothing in it but King Ka and a King Ka gift shop, and that was it. There's this huge boardwalk area, and then you go to Riot Ka, and there's nothing else to do in that area besides like Zumanjaro, of course. But it's a pretty long, annoying walk. You have to go out of the Golden Kingdom, walk down the boardwalk section again, and then turn into kind of like this Hispanic section, so you can ride El Toro. But it's like the park is in a very weird shape, but hopefully this goes by King Ka and Green Lantern, because there needs to be another ride in that area. Plus, this would mean that they have a coaster for pretty much most of the main Justice League members. Like, I don't think they're gonna give Martian Manhunter a coaster anytime soon, or a ride in general. I would love that more than anything. I love Martian Manhunter. He's probably my favorite comic book character of all time, and no matter how much I want it, it's probably not gonna happen. Though he is back in the league in the comics, so we'll have to see. I do think they'll get a Flash ride soon, but if they get the Flash ride and an Aquaman ride, unlikely, but now that the movie's coming out, possible. That would mean that they have 7 of the Justice League members have their own rides, which would be so cool, you know? And I said that was a little bit of a ramble, but this is a really, really, really neat addition, and I'm very, very happy to see this go into my favorite park in the world. Overall, this was a great year for Six Flags. Not the best, but great. They outdid Cedar Fair for the first time in a while. Surprised to not see an RMC at all, but I didn't even predict one, so outside of like Raptors, but surprised there were no Tourbillons too. I actually think Cyborg at Great Adventure is really great. Very good flat ride, and there's never any lines for it. And if you go to like New England and you try to get on Harley Quinn, the shortest I've ever waited is 45 minutes. So these things get people to ride them, and they have long lines. But thank you guys for watching. I'll have Avery linked in the description if you guys want to check out his videos. He is fantastic. Just because I mentioned him earlier, I'll link him in the description. Also, follow me on Twitter. I'm down there in the description as always. Twitter.com/RickedRails. RICKED Rails. And yeah, I'll have more info about a Six Flags America meetup if any of my fans are from down there. Yeah. That's great. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe. I don't care if you like the video. You can if you want. I'll have more videos coming out soon, like a bunch of coaster reviews and maybe a couple top 10s or just lists in general. But definitely expect a couple coaster reviews. I'm already working on them. Should be out within the next few weeks. Thank you guys for watching.